Tonight, the WNBA spotlight turns toward Connecticut for a matchup that could be far more interesting than the standings might suggest. Atlanta Dream, Connecticut Sun. Two teams, two completely different situations, and one basketball court where momentum, confidence, defense, and execution will decide everything. The Atlanta Dream are entering this matchup with a 20-12 record, while the Connecticut Sun are sitting at 8-23. Atlanta has been one of the stronger teams in the Eastern Conference, while Connecticut is fighting through a difficult season and looking for opportunities to disrupt opponents. But here's the thing about the WNBA. You cannot judge a game before the opening tip. A hot shooting night can change everything. A defensive run can completely flip momentum, and one superstar performance can turn an expected result into an unforgettable upset. So tonight, we're breaking down ATL versus CON, the biggest storylines, the players who could change the game, and exactly what each team needs to do to come away with the victory. Let's get into it. At first glance, this matchup looks like a game Atlanta should control. The Dream have been much stronger overall this season, and their record reflects that. But this isn't just about the standings. Atlanta is entering the final stretch of the regular season, which means every game becomes part of the bigger playoff picture. The Dream can't simply win games. They need to build momentum. They need to sharpen their execution, and they need their key players playing at their best before the postseason arrives. Connecticut, meanwhile, has a completely different motivation. The Sun may not have the same record, but that doesn't mean they have nothing to play for. Games like this are opportunities. An opportunity to challenge a stronger opponent, an opportunity to build confidence, and an opportunity to show fans that this team can compete with anyone when everything clicks. That makes this matchup dangerous for Atlanta. Because the favorite has pressure, the underdog has freedom, and sometimes that combination creates incredible basketball. Let's start with Atlanta. The Dream have put together a strong season, and one of the biggest reasons is their ability to combine talent with consistency. Atlanta isn't dependent on just one player. They can attack from multiple positions. They can score inside. They can create opportunities from the perimeter. And when their defense starts forcing turnovers, the game can suddenly speed up. That's when Atlanta becomes extremely difficult to handle. The Dream want to make opponents uncomfortable. They want quick decisions, they want defensive pressure, and they want to turn stops into points. One player who has become impossible to ignore is Angel Reese. Reese has been making headlines during her first season in Atlanta, including a recent performance against Toronto that brought her closer to a major WNBA rebounding record. Her presence changes the game. She brings physicality, she attacks the glass, she creates second chances, and perhaps most importantly, she gives Atlanta another player opponents have to account for every possession. If Reese controls the boards tonight, Connecticut could have a serious problem because offensive rebounds don't just create extra possessions, they can completely destroy a team's defensive rhythm. Now let's talk about Connecticut. The Sun's record doesn't tell the entire story of what this team is capable of. At 8-23, they are obviously having a difficult season, but difficult seasons can produce some of the most dangerous performances. Why? Because there is less pressure. Connecticut can enter this game knowing that almost everyone expects Atlanta to win, and that can be powerful. The Sun need to make this game ugly. They need to slow Atlanta down. They need to make every possession physical, and they absolutely cannot allow the Dream to establish an early rhythm. If Connecticut can keep the game close through the first half, the pressure begins shifting. Suddenly, Atlanta has to start thinking about the result. Suddenly, every missed shot matters, and suddenly the underdog starts believing. That's exactly what Connecticut needs. Confidence. Because once an underdog gets confidence, anything can happen. If you want one area to watch closely, watch the glass. Rebounding could be one of the biggest keys to this matchup. Atlanta has players capable of dominating the boards, and Angel Reese is obviously a major factor. Connecticut cannot afford to give Atlanta multiple chances on the same possession. Imagine defending for 20 seconds, forcing a difficult shot, and then giving up an offensive rebound. That's heartbreaking basketball, and it gives the opponent another opportunity to score. Connecticut needs to box out every possession, every shot, no exceptions. Atlanta, meanwhile, should attack the glass aggressively. If the Dream can generate second-chance points, they can take control of the game without needing to shoot an incredible percentage. The second major battle is tempo. Who controls the pace? That's going to matter. Atlanta would love to turn defensive stops into transition opportunities. Connecticut would probably prefer a more controlled game where every possession is deliberate. If Atlanta starts running, Connecticut could find itself chasing the game. But if the Suns slow everything down, force half-court possessions, and make Atlanta work for every basket, they can stay competitive. This is where coaching becomes important. The game isn't just about making shots, it's about controlling the environment. Atlanta wants energy. Connecticut wants control. The team that gets its preferred style could have a major advantage. Then comes the most exciting part, the stars. Because when two WNBA teams are fighting through a close game, somebody eventually has to take over. Atlanta has multiple offensive options, and that makes them difficult to defend. If one player isn't having a great shooting night, another can step up. If the perimeter game isn't working, Atlanta can attack inside. And if the defense creates turnovers, the Dream can turn those mistakes into easy points. Connecticut needs to prevent those runs. They cannot allow Atlanta to score 6, 8, or 10 unanswered points, because against a team with confidence, one small run can become a huge problem. And if this game reaches the final 5 minutes with the score close, that's when the pressure becomes enormous. Every big matchup has an X factor. For Atlanta, it could be second-chance scoring and rebounding. For Connecticut, it could be three-point shooting. If the Sun can knock down outside shots consistently, they can force Atlanta's defense to stretch. That creates driving lanes. It creates space, and it can completely change the geometry of the court. But if Connecticut starts missing from outside, Atlanta can collapse defensively and make life much harder. That's why shooting efficiency will be crucial. One team has to create advantages, the other has to eliminate them. And that's what makes this matchup so fascinating. For Atlanta, the game plan should be simple. Start fast. Don't allow Connecticut to build confidence. Attack the paint, crash the boards, move the ball, and play disciplined defense. Atlanta doesn't need to force spectacular plays. They simply need to play the basketball that got them to this point. If they control the glass, avoid unnecessary turnovers, and establish their offensive rhythm early, they should put themselves in a strong position. But there is one major warning. Don't get comfortable. The worst thing Atlanta could do is look at Connecticut's record and assume this will be easy. The WNBA doesn't work that way. Every team has talented players, every team can get hot, and every night is another opportunity for someone to make a statement. For Connecticut, the formula is different. They need patience, they need physical defense, they need efficient shooting, and they need to stay within striking distance. If Atlanta takes a 10-point lead, Connecticut cannot panic. If Atlanta goes on a run, the Sun need to respond. And if the game is close in the fourth quarter, that's where Connecticut has to believe. Because that's when the pressure flips. Atlanta becomes the team expected to finish. Connecticut becomes the team trying to steal the game. And one big defensive stop could suddenly change everything. So here's the question. Can Connecticut shock Atlanta? On paper, Atlanta has the advantage. The Dream enter this matchup at 20-12, compared with Connecticut's 8-23 record, and ESPN's matchup predictor also heavily favors Atlanta. But basketball isn't played on paper, it's played possession by possession. If Atlanta gets comfortable, Connecticut can punish them. If Connecticut starts hot, the entire atmosphere changes. And if the fourth quarter is close, forget the records, forget the predictions. At that point, it's about who executes, who wants it more, who makes the big shot, who gets the crucial rebound, and who stays calm when the pressure reaches its highest point. So here we are, Atlanta Dream versus Connecticut Sun. A matchup featuring two teams heading into the final stretch of the WNBA season from very different positions. Atlanta is looking toward the playoffs. Connecticut is looking for moments that can change the direction of its season. And that is why this game deserves your attention. Because maybe Atlanta does exactly what everyone expects. Maybe the Dream control the game, dominate the glass, and walk away with another important victory. Or maybe Connecticut turns this into a fight. Maybe the Sun hit the big shots. Maybe the defense takes over. Maybe the crowd gets loud. And maybe we get the kind of fourth quarter that makes WNBA basketball so special. One thing is certain, this isn't just another game. It's a test of Atlanta's consistency. It's a test of Connecticut's fight. And it's another chapter in a WNBA season that is getting more intense every single week. So tell me in the comments, who are you taking, Atlanta or Connecticut? Do you believe the Dream will handle business? Or are you calling the upset and backing the Sun? Drop your prediction below. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more WNBA game previews, reactions, highlights, and basketball stories. Because the season is heating up, the playoff race is getting serious, and the biggest games are still ahead. A TL versus CON. Let's get ready for a big one.